So Mitzvah Mila is one of the 10 tests. Asura Nisyonis Shenisnasa Avraham Avinu. And I asked at the beginning of this year, Avraham Avinu was huge, he was great, he was unbelievable, he was the first. So why did he have such a difficult life? The Balaturim writes, V'yohavto as Hashem Elochecha b'chol avavcho v'chol nafshecho v'chol ma'odecha. Ve'ohavto is the letters ha'avois. Ha'avois. Chazal darshan b'chol nafshecho afilu noitlas nafshecho. You need to give away your life, not to be oved avodah zorah. How does a human being have the courage and the strength to give away his life that goes against the most fundamental thing in human nature? Kol asher lo yitein ba'ad nafsho. How do Jews throughout history, so many times, again and again, gave away their lives for HaKadosh Baruch Hu? It all comes from the Avos. So Avraham Avinu was put to test 10 times, and each of these 10 Nisyonis was different than the others. None of them were the same. Avraham was tested in every difficulty that would be part of the human experience. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows that throughout the ages in this long golus, we will be put to test again and again, and in many different ways. And those were the Asura Nisyonis of Avraham Avinu. And when he rose to the challenge, and he passed those tests, he gave us the koyach throughout the generations to do the same. The very first Nisoyan was Golus. Kodesh Baruch Hu tells Avraham Avinu, go, go. Where am I going? Kodesh Baruch Hu says, you don't need to know. Pack up and go. Lech mi'artzecho me'maladetecho me'beis avicho. Artzecho, meladetecho, beis avicho. 3 different things. One of the fathers of modern psychology, I don't like to mention Goyish names when I'm speaking to Heilige Bochum in a Heilige Yeshiva, but his fundamental axiom was, Ha'adam hu yitzur chevrati. Man is a social being. Lahavdil elef alfei avdalas. That's what the Rava says about Choni HaMa'agel. You know the story of Choni HaMa'agel? There's also a Goyish version of Choni HaMa'agel. Maybe some of you knew him, maybe not. Gentleman called Rip Van Winkle. And Choni HaMa'agel slept for 70 years. And he gets up, he knows nobody and nobody knows him. And he becomes so frustrated, he wants to die. And Rava says, O chavruta o mituta. That is human nature. And people are attached to 3 different ma'agalim, 3 different circles. A person's greatest love and affection is always to his family. His children, his wife, his parents, his siblings. Number 2 is his social circle, his friends. Boys in the yeshiva, you learn together. Guys that are sitting next to you in kollel, in the office, neighbors. And the 3rd circle is your nation, your country. Tens of millions of people died throughout history just for their countries. So Kodesh Baruch Hu tells Avraham Avinu, Lech mi'artzecho. Leave your land. Not only your land, the moiladetecho, your friends, your society, your family. Leave it all behind and go. And he doesn't even know where he's going. But he went. And that is an Nisoyan we have experienced so many times, goylo achar goylo. the wandering Jew, Golus, again and again and again. And then war and famine and physical pain. He was 99 years old, and he circumcised himself. And there was no anesthesiologist available at the time. And then Urkazdim, he was willing to give away his life. And the ultimate sacrifice, the ultimate Nisoyin, is Akedas Yitzchak, to shecht your own beloved son, Omid Bekulan, and he gave us the koyach throughout the generations to do the same. So you all remember a Gemara in Masechet Gittin, in the Sug of Kamsa and Bar Kamsa, about a Jewish mother. Her 7 children were slaughtered before her eyes, and each of them refused lehishtachavos letzelem. Before her youngest child is to be killed, she asks to kiss him. And according to the Medrash in Echo, that child was 3 years old. She kisses her son and she tells him, Lech va'omartu la'Avrom Avinu, ata akadat mizbeach echad, v'ani akadati shiva mizbachos. What does she mean to say? Does she mean to say, Avrom Avinu, you think you're so great? I'm 7 times as great as you are. You were willing to give away 1, and I gave away 7. If that is what she means to say, that's right. Eino dem nitpas al tsaroi. Who can judge the pain and the turmoil of a mother seeing her 7 children killed brutally before her eyes? But nevertheless, it's not about her. If what she said is bad, why would Chazal relate that to us if it's wrong? If Chazal tell us what she said, we must assume that what she said is holy, is right. So my interpretation is, she tells her little boy, go to Avraham Avinu. I don't think everybody could just come into Avraham Avinu's room. I'm sure there's a very tough gabbai standing out there, and there's one after the other, and up there, money doesn't work. You can't give the gabbai $100 under the table and a shoo you in. But a child that was moise nefesh al kedushas Hashem, all doors are open to him. So the mother tells her little boy, look up Avraham Avinu and tell him, thank you, Avraham. Ato akadato mizbeach echad ubekoichechu agadol. You gave me the strength to stand in this terrible nisoyin, and in your merit and in your schus, ani akadati shiva mizbachos. And it is not only 7, it is thousands of mizbachos that our people sacrifice throughout the ages. Ato okadato mizbeach echad. And that is the same with all the other nisyonis. And that is why Avraham Avinu was put to test, to give us the koyach in all these different types of nisyonis that we have endured throughout this long golus. So there's a story I told many times. And many people realized that I very rarely tell stories. And I have a reason why I don't tell many stories. I will only relate a story that I know 100% that it actually happened. And I heard the story from a person, a Ish Neman, that heard it from the Bala Maisa. 70 years of brutal Bolshevism, communism in Russia, when it was a terrible offense to be Mekayim any mitzvah. And if you circumcised your child, you were sent 20 years to Siberia to perish and to die. And many people weren't Oimid ben Asayin, but they were tzaddikim. Moyalim, they traveled me'ir le'ir u'mekfar lekfar. Most of them were Lubavitcher Hasidim. And this Moyel arrived in a town once in 2 or 3 months, and there was an underground system, and people contacted one another, and he got a list of all the homes he needs to visit to be Machnes Yaldi Yisrael Lebrisoy Shel Avraham Avinu. And once in a few months, the Moyel came to town, and all the children that were born in the past 2 or 3 months, all the boys, he went from one home to the other, and he did Milah. And I heard it from the person that heard the story from the Moyel. I came into a house, and I realized in the first minute there's so much tension in the air. You could cut it with a knife, and I didn't know what it's about. The moment I finished the bris, even before I bandaged the child, the mother grabbed the child out of my arms, and she started kissing him insanely. And after a few seconds or a minute or two, the mother handed the child back to the Moyel to wrap him up and to bandage him. And the mother apologized, and she said, "My baby was born 2.5 months ago, and my husband didn't want to do the bris. And he said, I'm not going to put myself in danger. I'm not going to Sibir to do a bris. I don't think it's that important." After 60 years of communism, they weren't Shomer Torah. But the mother insisted, my child will have a bris. That's what my father did and my grandfather did, and we all did since Avraham Avinu. She made a shuvah and she swore she's not going to kiss this baby until he will be circumcised. 2.5 months passed. The lady told the Moyel, and I didn't kiss my baby even once. I choke when I tell this story because I just could imagine the scene. So she said the moment the Moyel came into the house, it became unbearable. So the moment the child was Nimoyel, she snatched the baby. She couldn't stand it. And she kissed him for 3 months. I don't think anybody did statistics. How many times a mom kisses the baby in the first 3 months of her life? No reason to do that statistic. But I wasn't there, so I don't know how many kisses that baby got. But this is just an example of Mesiras Nefesh of Poshet Yidden, simple Jews, not big tzaddikim. The husband didn't want to do the bris at all. Where does this Mesiras Nefesh come from? Avraham Avinu. And all the other aspects in which Klal Yisrael, this miraculous people, how did we make it through this long Gorus with so many different nisyonos and so many different tests? That is the koyach of Weiss. V'ahavto es Hashem Elokecho b'chol nafshecho ha'avois, like the Baraturim says. Kol ha'hoilech b'darka ovis ani meskoim amora b'schus ovis. And as long as we stick to darkei ovis and we emulate their ways, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will always remember for us schus ovis and chazdei ovis. Biglal ovis toshia bonim v'sovei geula levnei b'neiim, and the schus of Avoseinu HaKadoshim, and in the schus of trying to emulate their ways and follow in their footsteps, we should all be zeicher b'kora b'yameinu to Ashnas geula v'yeshua b'mheira v'yameinu amen. Have a beautiful Shabbos.